Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Kitchen Adventures of Bull. I'm Bull, and welcome to Dessert Sunday. Every Sunday, I will bless you with another dessert recipe. Today, we're making baklava. If you ask a Jordanian, Palestinian, and a Greek person where baklava came from, they'll tell you their hometown. First, you'll need phyllo dough, oil, and butter. Your choice of nuts. Most usually, people use pistachios, but I kind of ate them all. And spices to taste. Here I have cayenne, nutmeg, cinnamon, vanilla, and honey. Can't forget about the sugar though. I have laid down a sheet of parchment paper, which I will place my first two pieces of phyllo dough. Phyllo dough dries out very quickly, so it's best to keep it under a damp napkin. First, I kind of spray my parchment paper. Phyllo dough is very thin, as you can see, so be careful when you are working with it. You'll continue this pattern for several layers until you have a nice thin layer of baklava crust bottom. If your oil mixture begins to pool in any of these places, you can use a brush or paper towel to thin it out. I am now at the halfway mark, which means I'm going to do one of three things. Number 1. I cover the bottom portion of my baklava with saran wrap. Number 2. Preheat oven to 350. Number 3. Nutcracker! Nutcracker! To crack my nuts, I put them in a bag, like so. If you have a smasher thingy, use a smasher thingy. This is my smasher thingy. And repeat. After you finish, you might be out of breath or sweating, and your nuts should look like this. See? It's time to spice our nuts. Be careful when you're using nutmeg. Although it is a pleasant spice, it is very, very strong. You can use a lot of cinnamon though, kind of like this. Boom. Flatten out the nut mixture on top of the baklava crust. Spray again with an oil mixture and then begin to layer the crust. Unfortunately, my phyllo dough got a little too wet, so it's becoming difficult to separate. If this becomes the case, just rip it off in strips and still place an oil as you would normally. As I place my final sheet of phyllo dough, I realize that the edges are a little bit off the corner of my pan. No worries, I will lift the parchment paper and tuck my phyllo dough under the bottom crust. Most baklava recipes will call for one nut layer and one dough layer, repeating until they hit the top. However, I only had a limited amount of nuts, so I only have one layer. No worries, it should still turn out okay. Mother of Bull likes to cook dinner on Sundays, and she wears her headphones. Ooh, fish. While my baklava is in the oven, I begin to bake the syrup. Remember, 1 cup sugar, ½ cup liquid, all cups love. For my liquid, however, I decided to step away from water and use something a little more flavorful. Ooh, Chardonnay. The alcohol, however, usually gets cooked out. I add a little squirt of lime. That's a lemon. And a dash of Madagascar vanilla. While my syrup is reducing, I add some honey. This is actually locally grown. I will not get on my Save the Bees soapbox. However, save the bees. If you have allergies, local raw honey will help you because it has pollens from flowers in your area. As I check on my baklava, I see it is rising. Temperature, heat, gas, expansion. Syrup taste check. Fresh herbs like mint make a wonderful garnish. As you can see, Herb boxes like this make it very easy for me to obtain fresh mint. Except when you kill your cilantro. Then that's bad. Stack, roll, and chop your leafy greens in order to get a nice diced garnish. Once your baklava is out of the oven, immediately pour your syrup over. It should look something like this. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. And make sure to get all corners, and if you can hear the sizzling, that means it literally just came out of the oven. Now I can top with some more slivered almonds. At this time, I can add the pinch of my garnished for my mint. How you cut your baklava is up to you. Some people like diamonds, some people like squares. I personally like hexagons. It's my favorite shape. So far, I kind of cut at a diagonal, then I go the other way. It should look a little something like this after you pour it. If you have any more syrup or honey, drizzle that on too to help it stick together. I like to drizzle my honey from a pretty high point. Oh yeah. I'm probably gonna have a very, very high sugar rush before dinner. Whoops.